Hello, welcome back. It's time for a bit of Q&A 10. Yes, somehow the 10th episode of this thing that was only ever supposed to be one episode. 10. We're into double figures. Those people are duff at maths, so 1 and a 0, which is sort of 10, isn't it, really? Okay, so thanks again to everyone that's posted questions. We've still got them flooding in, and a couple of new questioners as well. So excellent, thank you to you. So let's start at the top again, as we tend to do, with the most important question that the world has probably ever seen. Okay, Watch Read Play Retro asks, what's your favourite jam flavour? Yes, well, this has heavily delayed my output this week, thinking of this fundamental question, which is even more important than life, the universe, and possibly everything. Yeah, I was going to do a joke about traffic jam and then realised that was rubbish. So we've gone for, my favourite jam is probably close between strawberry and blackcurrant. Strawberry's the original, but out of the two, I go for blackcurrant jam as my favourite. Phew, wow. Now we've got that monumental question out of the way, we could probably relax now and concentrate on less, more trivial things. Okay, hope that hasn't tired you out here. Next question by Watch Replay Retro again. Oh dear, this is going to make me look like a bit of a geek, I think. Did you take dance lessons or dance classes, or did you teach yourself how to dance? In brackets, based on the amazing MJ spins you did. Oh yeah, I forgot about those old videos. Yes, I do like a bit of dancing. Oh dear, how am I coming across now? I've never had dance lessons. It would have been way too embarrassing as a young boy going. I wish I had, but I didn't. So everything I've learned, good or bad, is self-taught by repeating what I see in videos over and over again. Yeah, maybe I should have got out more. I remember the trickiest thing was learning how to moonwalk, but there was a fundamental trick with that, and as soon as I got it, I was moonwalking everywhere. Up the shops, through escaped dogs, and yeah. So I've never taken any lessons really. It's all self-taught, good or bad. But there we go. Right, okay. New person asks, TPL Productions. Thank you. He asks, who is your favourite Sith from the prequel Star Wars films? I'm not a big fan of the prequel films compared to the originals. So prequel films were in the territory of what are we on? The Phantom Menace, which I tried to blank from my memory, Attack of the Clowns, Clones, and Revenge of the Sith. So, who are the Sith in there? We got Darth Maul, who didn't really last very long, although he was a bit cool. Sidious, of course. Count Dooku. I suppose you could count Darth Vader, I suppose, but that was Anakin turning around. And Grievous, which I never really saw as a Sith, to be honest with you. He was some sort of cyborg add-on thing. But out of all those, although Sidious is the main dude, but I'll have to go for Christopher Lee's Count Dooku as my favourite Sith from the prequel films, only because I'm a fan of Christopher Lee in general, and whenever he's in a film it does earn a bit of a gravitas. Recently died Christopher Lee, so rest in peace, but a fantastic actor in a great many films. First come across him as a kid in Count Dracula. Count Dooku, he's the man. Although none of the characters were very fleshed out, were they, in those prequel films? But that's another story. Very, very shallow. Let's hope episodes 7, 8 and 9 are a lot better, which I think they will be. Another newcomer asked some questions, so thank you. It's Captain Button Masher. I do that quite a lot when I get lost in games. Okay. I originally wrote it wrong and I put bottom masher, so that was a close one. I remembered before I read out the question. That could have been a bit embarrassing. But Captain Button Masher asks, this is a long question, deep breath. Right, do you think that TV shows these days have theme tunes that were as catchy, as memorable as some would argue, mostly me, I mean him, they used to be in times gone by? Not sure I read that right. He then goes on to say, I don't think they do. And for me, nothing beats the cracking little tunes we used to have, like the theme to Sorry, Knight Rider, well that was cool, yeah, the A-Team, etc. And I think the kids' shows were even better. Rent a Ghost, Yeah, with you there. Ulysses 31, always a favourite. Cities of Gold, again, that's a favourite. To name a few, but perhaps I'm just letting nostalgia get the better of me. Well, of course, it's good to get nostalgia get the better of you, because these sort of tunes bring up memories as a kid growing up, where later ones don't, because you're all actually grown up. But that said, I fully agree with you. Theme tunes back in the day to shows and kids shows were vastly superior. For the sake of sounding like one of those old guys I remember listening to as a kid, thinking music wasn't as good back in my day. It's Nostalgia City, so I go with it. Who can beat the theme music to the A-Team? Even better than that rendition I just done. Yeah, old things are better. I'm sure there's some exceptions, but it's all too processed nowadays, isn't it? There's no grit in there. Okay, next question. Daniel Cordell, which generally asks a question or two each roundup. Not roundup, Q&A. I'm getting the things mixed up now. He asks, what are your favourite cover CDs and discs for each magazine, this is gaming magazines, and brands you collected? Well, yeah, I went through a period of getting a lot of computer magazines, more prevalent in the Amiga days, but I only had the cover disc for a while, and then they'd get lost, or I'd end up using them as a blank disc to copy something over the top. There are a few good utility discs, but I prefer the gaming demos, most notably from a game I've actually reviewed called Tanks. That was a good one. I can't remember what magazine that come with, but basically it was a two-player game, either you against another person or the computer, where you control the elevation of your tank turret and the force, and you have to try and blow each other up on side of the maps. It's like a turn-based game. Seem to remember a few other demos as well, variations of Sensible Soccer, which was always cool, but I can't pick out any individual ones, because as I say, I used to copy other stuff over the top or use them as save discs. I think Test Drive 2 I copied over quite a few to create car discs and so forth, but yeah. Of those, Tanks and Sensible Soccer stand out, Daniel. So thanks for that question. Okay, now to Interghost. Where did you used to buy your specky games as a kid? Well, that's a long time ago. And can you remember what the shop looked like? Oh God. Yeah. Maybe a bit like that. Well, as a kid, you just relied on pocket money, and I didn't get too much, but there we go. It's made me the saver I am today. So I was big on the Mastertronic range, or the low budget games were only like $1.99 or something for the thing. But I remember going to a shop called Martin's, I don't know if it's changed its name now, in the high street, where I would look at these games that typically come on cassette. Well, they always did, didn't they? I can't remember quite what the shop's still there, but it's laid out quite a bit different. It might have become Martin McCole or changed its name to something else. But there was very few other places I got, apart from swapping them in the kids' playground, of course, and then arguing, trying to get them back. Okay, there we go. Another question from Interghost. Lots of people have asked multiple questions, thank you for that. So I've tried to divide them up rather than doing 8 of one person, 6 of another, which I tend to do to try and make it a bit interesting. But I think we've answered all of them this time. Interghost, how often did you get games as a kid? Sort of like linked to the last question. And were they commercialised games, cover tapes or pirate copies? Well, I did try to buy a few games, though, the cheap ones. I remember my my dad come back one day and brought Attic Attack, and that was to change my Spectrum life, because that game was absolutely fantastic. Later brought back Night Law. That was okay, the same vein. It didn't have the immediate pick up and play of Attic Attack. Tend to get games mainly due to birthdays and Christmas, but yeah, the pirated games back then was huge, wasn't it, really? Terribly wrong, but as a kid you didn't really look at that. Cassettes, I mean, round about that time twin MIDI systems or tape decks were available, and copy one to the other was just done so many times. That's before the time of copy protection, which really hurt the industry. So there's massive loads of pirated games being passed around the whole and utter time. Blank tapes you can buy in a pack of 10 or whatever really cheaply, so yeah, they was really up against it. Couldn't do that nowadays. That's probably better. So most of the games, I have to say, I don't have them now, by the way, will have to be pirated. So shame on me. But I was only about 7 or 8, so I didn't know no better. not like I killed anyone, but it's still bad. Should I have answered that question? Well, there it goes, it's answered. Now, what should we play retro? Who's probably asked the most questions this time. Have you always played retro games, even 10 or 15 years back, or did the retro craze get you back into the nostalgia of them? I'm going to give you a bit of an unusual answer to this one. Now, I grew up with the ZX Spectrum games, as you probably know if you watch other ones of these, and then moved to Commodore Amiga and then the Game Boy Advance. Now, from that point, although I played the PlayStation games as I was picking up, PlayStation 2, I enjoyed still enjoyed the Amiga and the Spectrum games ever so slightly more. So basically, I was playing the same games forever when it wasn't retro, and then suddenly the retro scene overtook me, and I was in retro land. So I was doing retro before it was retro. Yeah, so that's what it is. I was just suddenly like retro games all of a sudden, and they get older and older and older and older and older. So I suppose Spectrum now and Commodore 64 and Amstrad CPC are for the new breed of people coming in. I suppose they're seen as super retro, and retros maybe looked at the PlayStation 1 stage. It all depends on what age you are, really. So yeah, I was sort of engulfed by it. Next question from him. Do you still play some games in your private time, even after reviewing them? Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I mean, I don't have too much time, so it's a pretty much high-end production line, this, of trying to get the videos out on time, especially the technical non-gaming ones. But yeah, I do play them in my spare time. Quite often play them when something's uploading and it's like dead time. But Game Boy Advance games get played quite a lot. I play that more than my PS Vita, oddly enough. I like playing the classics, Super Hang-On that system, Outrun and various other ones. Amiga, I'm always playing Kickoff 2, Sensible Soccer as well, Speedball 2, and other ones that spring to mind. Lotus, the Lotus trilogy, I play that quite a lot. So there we go, and Spectrum games. Manic Miner gets a look in every now and again, although I always seem to die at the same place. I haven't really advanced for the last 20 years. So, in answer to that, yes, when I've got the time. Because the good thing with retro games are, they're very pick up and play. You've got no save points with them. You can just play them and drop them whenever you want, really. So, you're never going to get called for dinner and lose where you are on it. Okay, now, it's one of these foodie questions again. Retro Rambles. He asks, what's your all-time #1 favourite of crisps? I think we might have had a similar question to this before. I can't quite remember. It might have been your favourite out of Quavers and Watsons or something. But anyway, what's your #1 flavour of crisps? My favourite, his favourite, are salt and vinegar, cheese and onion and beef. However, the all-time #1, he says, is bacon. Well, when it comes to crisps, I like my taste bud sensation tripped a bit. So my favourite flavour of crisps would have to be prawn cocktail or Worcester sauce. Quite sharp, although I do like, I think I mentioned this before as well, the Brannigan's crisps, ham and pickle and mustard and beef, and they really make your eyes water, those ones. Proper pub crisps. But the traditional flavours we go for prawn cocktail or Worcester sauce. Yes. Oh, and of course, any flavour of Pringles are the best, because if you open a pack of Pringles and just have one, you'll know that you're going to eat all them completely. I think they glaze them with cocaine or something. Who's ever had 2 Pringles and then put the lid back on and put them back in the cupboard? Nobody. Nobody that I know. It would take amazing willpower. I think it's even harder than to stop smoking, I would have thought. And this month, Stoptober, which smokers gives them a chance to stop. I never started, so maybe I should have done Start-tember last month. But anyway, next up, TPL Productions again. A further 2 questions from that good chap. What is your opinion on the overpopulation of first-person shooters today in today's gaming market? There's quite a few, isn't there? I mean, games in the retro world, you're looking at Doom, Duke Nukem Advance, Wolfenstein was about at that time, the basic ones. Yeah, I mean, there's lots and lots of them that come out all the time, aren't there? COD, Black Ops, Battlefield, over and over again. But for me, I think there are way too many of these games. But the reason why there are is because they keep selling. and they have the online function, which is extremely popular, and people keep buying them. If people stop buying them, they'd make other ones. But to me, a bit like the FIFA games, although people that buy these games probably see different because they see the intricacies and nuances of it, these games all look the same. So I would say there is an overpopulation of first-person shooters, but I'm a bit two-faced on this because there is a first-person shooter coming out soon, Star Wars Battlefront on the PS4, and that's probably the game that's going to make me buy the PS4, and that pretty much is a first-person shooter. So keep making them really, horses for courses, and you could probably say for driving games as well, is there too many driving games? Well, yes again, but they keep on selling, so what are you going to do? If you're investing millions of pounds or what have you as a game producer, you want something that sells, you want a surefire hit. It's not like the Spectrum or even Commodore Amiga days, we can take a bit of a risk. If you lose money, you're out of business. So yes and no to that answer. We go on to a TV now from TPL Productions. He asked, did you ever watch The Goodies when it was on TV? And if so, what was your favourite episode? Mine, I mean his, personally was when Graham, that's Graham Garden that was in it. There was Graham Garden, Bill Oddie and Tim Brooke Taylor. So his favourite is when Graham builds a pirate radio station and goes mad with power, in brackets, in a hilarious manner of course, like doesn't kill anyone or anything. Now The Goodies, I watched this a lot as a kid, but that's where it stops. I can't remember watching it since that point. So I've just got childhood memories of it, but I watched it all the time, so it must have been good. I seem to remember one where there was a massive cat attacking the city. If you're unaware of The Goodies, it was a British series sitcom, a bit madcap. It wasn't sketch-based like Monty Python, it was a full episode each time, where the Goodies was a band of these three people, and their motto was the heroes do anything at any time. So whenever there was a disaster, i.e. a massive cat attacking the city, they would jump into action and free everyone. It was a madcap show, so my favourite is the cat one, to be honest with you. They released a few singles as well, most notably The Funky Gibbon, which I remember watching as a kid on Top of the Pops. So if you YouTube The Goodies, Funky Gibbon, if you're unaware of that song, you'll probably be able to see it. Some person would have uploaded it. Do The Funky Gibbon. Yeah, that's a scene to believe. You couldn't get away with that sort of thing nowadays. But a great show. So that was a good question, that The Goodies. I haven't thought about that show for quite some time. Good question. Captain Masher... Captain Button Masher is back. He asks, did you ever watch the gaming show that used to run on Sky Television called Game Network? He used to enjoy watching that when it first started, long before the days of YouTube, that one. I didn't have Sky as a growing up, and I still don't have it. Maybe I'm missing out or something, I don't know. I didn't watch that. It sounds like I would have liked it, but the show I tended to watch was Games Master. It was on TV when I got home from school, with Dominic Diamond in the chair playing various, people in the chair playing various games and segments, and then Patrick Moore as a computer animated face answering cheap answers from people. I almost lost the will to live there, or the strength of speech. But there we go. I never watched the Gaming Network, but probably would have loved that. As we go on to another sheet of questions. Woo! Second question, another question, Captain Button Masher. Stop having these long names, everyone. It's making it tricky. I have had enough trouble before with Longrod von Hugendun. Yes, that was it. Right, stop having long names. Have short names. Great, he asks, have you ever given yourself over to the power of chaos? Power of chaos. And just randomly mashed the controller while playing a seasoned veteran at games like Street Fighter or similar ones and emerged victorious? Yeah, all the time. I was never a big one to read the instructions, so when it comes to Street Fighter 2, where you have to perfect the skills and special moves of each character, and Tekken 3 and all those Tekken ones, I'd learn by random really, so mash all the buttons. I think all my friends just mashed the buttons. We weren't doing anything skill-wise or anything. Occasionally by fluke you learn a special move and then try and remember it for next time, then use some skill involved, but it was always button mashing. I I see competitions online and stuff where people obviously have got used to each character, and I'm in awe of those people, but I can't donate my whole life to a whole game. I've always been a slow learner, so button mashing is the way. Yes. So in answer to that, a big and fantastically huge yes. And many a time I was beaten, I haven't played the game for years, still not learnt much, and someone would come on and just drop the controller and beat me, was it land on a button or something. Next up in there, Interghost. Would you like to relive the old days, he's talking about gaming here, or did you like the way games are heading now? It's evolution, isn't it? You can't stop evolution. If you like games back then, back in the olden times, and you thought, well, let's stop, you'd end up with a wooden pinball table, or even less than that. So there's a place for retro games, always will be, but new games continuously have to be developed. They're very commercialised now, so you're not going to get quite the invention you did before. Although sometimes it does crop up with Android and iPhone games, so they can take a bit more of a risk there, where the game's paid by advertising. So that's maybe an area to look at. But in terms of the major consoles, I'm impressed with them. I'd always like good graphics. But there's going to come a point really where, now I like playing games to escape reality. I like a game to look like a game. If it gets to a point, which it surely will, you're wearing a head visor, and the game does look like reality, there's no escape. There's no escape for me. It's exactly the same. So to that point where games don't look like games, even, you know what I'm saying, don't you? I beyond a certain point, they're no longer games. If you know what I'm talking about, comment below, because I'm sort of like can't get my point across really. Real life games made to look like games, although PS4, I like the graphics there, and the Xbox One, they're pretty special, but they're still not 100% real, are they? And we need that separation, I think. Right, okay. Watch, replay, retro. Well, we've got the last couple of questions now, and then there's as per usual, a few for Eagle, which you're bound to get not the answer that you was after. Okay, watch, replay, retro. Oh, this is a tech question. This is a tech channel question. What capture card / device do you recommend? Well, for those people that don't make videos, but I'm sure you've got a bit of knowledge, it's all about when you play a game, there has to be a way of capturing what you're seeing on screen into footage so it can be uploaded. Now, I haven't got too much experience with different capture cards. I've only ever used the one, which is served me quite well, and then I use a microphone at the same time to record that, and then I sync the two together as best I can. It's never really a problem. The syncing process is quite easy. But capture cards, I've only ever used one, and that's Elgato, and that was from a recommendation of another channel I watched. There's numerous about there, but it depends what you want to do. I generally upload in 720p, which probably won't be good enough if I did PS4 footage. But I think Elgato, I think you can do 1080p. I haven't looked into it too much, although the file size would be quite big if you did that, so it would take longer to upload. So if you want to upload things, I'm getting really techie now and off the question, but if you want to upload things quick, it's all about keeping the file size as small as you can, but you're keeping the quality as high as you can. So there's a bit of a balance, but I use Elgato. It's not too bad with the file sizes on those ones so far. Okay, next question. We're jumping around these questions, we're all over the place. Jam, films, tech. What do you think about the upcoming Blade Runner sequel, and have you read the books, original 90s spin-offs? Now, I don't know too much about this Blade Runner 2 that's in the pipeline. I do know the spin-off books, although I never bought them, were written by K.W. Jeter. Now, books I have read of that writer in the Expanded Universe, I don't own them anymore. The Star Wars Expanded Universe, he wrote a few bounty hunter books. I think one was called Hard Merchandise, and included characters like Boba Fett from the films. But I think at the time I did mean to buy those books, because Jeter was quite a good, well, he is quite a good writer, so the Blade Runner books would have been better than those Star Wars ones, which are a little bit shallow. But I've never actually read them. I think is there 2 or 3? I'm not absolutely sure. In terms of the film, Blade Runner 2, I'm a little bit worried about that, but I've heard Harrison Ford's in it, which is a big plus. But Blade Runner was such an iconic film. I don't know how they're gonna match that, to be honest with you. I think it was Ridley Scott directing, or at least producing, so that's something. Although he has got sidetracked with the Prometheus series that precludes Aliens. But Blade Runner 2, I'd probably watch it. I hope it would be good, but I'd be a little bit worried. So it's one bit of trepidation there. So that's an answer to that question. Okay, and now some questions for Igor, which you're going to get crappy answers about.
Right, Igor.
Yeah, I'm here.
We've got 3 questions for you this time round.
Oh, who are they from?
Well, we got the first 2 from Watch Replay Retro, and then the last one by Interghost.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll try and sound a bit more excited.
Okay.
Right. Well, I suppose that's a small improvement. Anyway, the first 2 from Watch Replay Retro. Here we go. This relates to the Random Wednesday question a few weeks ago. He asked, how big is the Igor room / onion room?
Well, it's about 6.3 metres by 9.21 metres.
Yeah.
But in a diathlon storm, when the winter is crossed by the subspeed of Magalore,
of course,
it can be as much as 28 miles squared.
Brilliant. Okay, where does Igor do his shopping? It says here.
Shopping? We just go around and nick stuff.
Bravo. Not something I can recommend to anyone listening to this, of course. And the last question from Interghost. He says, tell me some interesting facts about your homeworld, as I'm writing a retro-style platform game about you. Wow, how about that then?
Sounds cool.
Yeah, it does sound quite good, doesn't it?
No one knows what I look like, though.
Yeah, that could be a problem.
Okay, 3 facts. 1. The homeworld is divided up into loads of islands. Volcanoes, dragons, witches, wizards, country and western, everything. 2. We jam around space nicking stuff. 3. I can't remember the third one.
Yep, so well done, Igor. Fantastic answers as always. So that was Q&A 10. Yes, 10. Dece. And other languages that say 10, which I haven't learned. So thank you for watching, all other 9 if you have done. Now, if you feel you want a question read out on these, all you need to do is comment below. Even if you're a first time questioner, there was a couple of people this time, so thank you for that. Just write them below and I'm sure to include them. Unless they're really out there and not in keeping with the mood of the channel. You know what I mean? I don't want views on ISIS or anything. I don't want to get too politically involved. Yeah, we know what I mean. But anyway, it's nice talking to you again. Thanks for the questions asked. And until next time, take care and goodbye.
Goodbye.